These little guys can be the most challenging to photograph and film. They are fast, elusive, and their nests are some of the hardest secrets to find in the woods. But if you stop and listen, you can hear them. You start to recognize the patterns, the habits, and the distinct rhythm of the forest. I've learned to tell exactly when a mother is returning to her nest just by the sound of her conversation. And this past week, that intuition led me to 4 different nests. Step behind the lens with me. I'm sharing my settings and my best advice for capturing these beautiful birds just footsteps from my home. Now before I get started, if you are new to this channel, my name is Shannon and I am a full-time photographer in beautiful British Columbia. Whether you're here to learn, be inspired, or simply enjoy some stunning visuals, you've come to the right place. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Raining pretty good. This, I'm not sure if it's going to work super well. It's covered in droplets. And this is my rig. I got the think tank right here. You can see through the viewfinder in the back what's happening. And I wanted to get some water droplets all over the hummingbirds. Kind of see how they do in the rain, grooming themselves. But it's a beautiful day. It's supposed to be sunny later this week, so I'll get some of those shots. Beautiful spring weather. Now with this, I've got little sleeves right here I could put my arms up in. And then there is a little viewfinder spot. I just didn't have time to set it up properly. But I've got a 500 on here, and then these are extension sleeves so that I could put my whole 500 mil on here. And then I do have a cap right here, so if I'm walking to another location, I'll just put that cap on top. It's like a shower cap. Insta360 here, and then I'm using a video head to make any smooth adjustments. maybe 10 seconds, 15 seconds before she comes in and she starts feeding. I find when it's dry out, I mean, she might sit on a branch for a good 5 minutes before coming in and feeding. So you never know, but at least if you keep your ears open, you could hear her sitting up somewhere and making her noise, making her little sounds before coming up. Oh, there she is. A little lower. Will that be enough? That'd be hard to know. I still got that branch in the way. Now let's go over camera settings. I'm using spot focus when the wildlife is still. Full area is great for moving birds, but of course in the nest here, spot focus, awesome. Then I use AFC for continuous autofocus. So whenever I push that button down, it'll just keep focusing. Now my peak highlights is turned on and I set it to blue. So this is perfect for when you go into manual focus, just to make sure that what you want in focus is in focus. And then I have one of my other function buttons set up to 100% zoom. So as you can see the details here with that peak highlights turned on, I can just nail down the focus here. And you can see as I change the focus, whatever's blue is in focus. Now there is a sensitivity level for the peak highlights. I would put it on the most sensitive. I think when I showed you my screen, it wasn't on the most sensitive. Now for exposure metering, I have mine set to matrix, so it evaluates the whole scene. I find any other setting really just throws the exposure depending on where the spot or the area focus is on. Currently I'm at 1,000th of a second, hopefully just freezing mama as she's, pushing the food down their throats. And my ISO is currently at 1600. But it is getting brighter out. And you can see that my histogram is showing everything is kind of to the left. So I'm not overly concerned because some of that far left is the twigs, but there is some dark shadows underneath of them. So I just got to watch out for that if I want to retain some of those details. But you can see their feathers, the highlights, those are quite bright. So I don't want to go, all the way over to the far right or even get close to it when I'm also thinking about my shutter and my ISO. I'm at f4, wide open. I did have a 1.4 teleconverter in there. And where mom usually comes in, you can hear her. She'll come down here, rest on some of the branches or underneath. Like there's so many different spots for mama to land to make sure that the coast is clear before she moves up to where the nest is. found 2 hummingbird nests today. And now I'm moving over to the other nest. That's like maybe 100 feet away. It's awesome. Quite the windstorm right now. I was out earlier, it was raining, pouring, and then this is the aftermath. It's just pushing it out. And it gives you, oh man, gives you different shots. This morning, completely different than today. Video out in the sun with the wind and everything, it's pretty dramatic. This right here just fell. I watched it hit and some debris slap all over the place. And then now it's starting to rain a little bit, but nothing this camera can't handle. These little guys are only going to last maybe another day, 2 days. They're flapping their wings quite a bit and getting pretty active. But I'm hoping this shot right here, I got some silhouette shots, even if I can't get all the color and the light out. And then every once in a while, their eyes would get some light, catch some light. And those are going to be, I think, some sweet shots. Now, my ISO is quite high, but there's so many other programs to work that out. What I need to make sure that I get is fast enough shutter speed and my focus in line. So again, if you're going to do the same setup, program one of your function buttons so that it zooms in like 100%, so that you can just fine tune. Shouldn't touch this too much. There she is. Here's a little behind the scenes of me doing photos, switching over to video, and then from time to time I'll zoom in 100% using my function button that's right up by my middle finger in the front there. And I'll click that, zoom way in, and that way I can actually just literally see the focus of the hummingbird come in or go out of focus. Sometimes it's hard to see if you don't have the peak highlights indicated. 500 4.5 lens. Now this one, I have to put the specs up on the screen, but I can get a lot closer with this. See, with this system I can handhold all day. Oh, there he is. 400 mil can get me as close as 8 feet, whereas my 500 mil can only get me as close as 13 feet. And the 500 is way heavier. This 400 mil lens, I can find the little one that has left the nest. I can also follow mom and get different angles where branches aren't in the way. And that's how I capture some of these images that are at different angles and they're clear of some branches. Some techniques for finding hummingbird nests is to go for a walk through your neighborhood, wherever there might be hummingbirds, and you're looking for the females. The males have a really colorful display around their whole head and neck, and they do make a different call sound when they're trying to attract another female or they're going after a male. Once you see some of the female hummingbirds, you just really want to sit back and relax. Watch the pattern. Are they feeding? Are they, looking around for a spot maybe to nest? And using your peripheral vision really helps out to see motion. So not specifically having to look at the hummingbirds and where they are, but allow your eyes to kind of just absorb any movement on the sides of your peripheral vision, because you'll find that you can pick up motion outside your line of focus really easy. And it was just down here, I was walking along a path, and out of the side of my eye I seen a hummingbird fly into a branch or underneath another branch out of sight, and I waited for her to kind of move around like she's feeding or looking for some protein, but she didn't. She ended up flying off after about maybe 10 seconds. And so we're kind of looking in and around, and sure enough, she was building a nest underneath the bough of this cedar tree over here. So that's kind of what you're looking for, is patterns, constant movement from these females going to and from a location, and you'll pick up a nest. One of them that I found, it's like 50 feet up in the air, and I saw this hummingbird going back and forth, and sure enough, I brought out the big gun, and I was able to spot her weaving and putting things together to build her nest, and even stomp it down with her little feet. But be sure to tune in next week, because I'm going to break down my post-processing, sharp images, or as sharp as you can when you have really low light conditions, and what to deal with like really high ISO images, because the shutter speed needs to be fast enough to get some detail out of the eyes, some of the feathers. The wings might be blurry because we're dealing with hummingbirds, but when you get ISO that's like 20,000, 40,000, 80,000, like, are those even usable? So tune in next week, subscribe if you aren't subscribed, and yeah, thank you for being here. I hope to see you next week. Ciao.